next guest is the Executive Vice President of Digital Strategy for the Motion Picture Association of America, the MPAA, you've heard it been called, where he represents the interests of the audio-visual entertainment industry in the digital age. And today we're revisiting a topic from a new perspective here, peer-to-peer file sharing and the Berman Bill. We're going to look at it from the other side now. Joining us from Los Angeles, Scott Dinsdale of the MPAA. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Martin.
So the Berman Bill was brought to Congress in an attempt to curb copyright infringement, specifically peer-to-peer file trading clients such as Kazaa, Morpheus. We've all used them. We've all heard of them. What does this bill mean to the MPAA?
Well, what it means is really clarifying the law in terms of our ability, the ability for our members to go out and do what they can to try and prevent the illegitimate trading of files online.
And ever since last July, when word spread about the Berman Bill, there's been this massive backlash. A lot of computer users, the EFF. Why, you guys understand why that is, why there is this huge backlash against the Berman Bill?
Frankly, when you look at the bill as proposed, it's a little confusing as to why there is such a big backlash. Really, as I said, all the bill tries to do is to clarify the laws that exist today in terms of what one can and can't do for self-help on the Internet and online.
Well, you know, I think maybe the reason there is such a backlash is because it doesn't really make it clear how you guys or any of the other groups, the IRAA, could go about taking back that copywritten data. Denial of service attacks, all these different means. It doesn't say how you can go about doing it, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point, is that it's ambiguous at this point, and there needs to be some clarity.
Okay, so how would the MPAA go about fighting copyright infringement as they see it as copyright infringement? What methods would you use, technologically speaking?
Well, first of all, it's not really the MPAA per se. Our member companies are very active. On the other hand, we do at the MPAA focus significantly on the issue of piracy. And as part of focusing on piracy, we survey the Internet, looking at the peer-to-peer networks, to find those people that are trading in large numbers of copyrighted works. We send them cease and desist notices for them to stop doing it.
So you send them a cease and desist notice and they don't stop doing it. What would your next course of action be?
The next course of action generally is to go to the ISP and then have the ISP help us in that effort.
But if you don't get satisfaction through any of those means, you could take matters in your own hands under this bill, right? You could attack them yourself and shut their operation down if you notify the Attorney General.
Well, we don't need the Berman Bill per se to go after people infringing copyright. That's part of normal copyright law. Mm-hmm. There's no specific element in the Berman Bill that gives us any new authority in that context.
But the Berman Bill does suggest that you could use tactics which in other realms would be illegal to use, such as, I mentioned it before, a denial of service attack. Under the Berman Bill, you could attack a file trader using that method, right?
I think that's frankly unclear, and a lot of the dialogue going on around Berman is to try and make sure that we are able to do the things that make sense and are reasonable for us to do, but on the other hand, clearly not cross into areas that are illegal and continue to be.
Movie piracy, you say you've been studying how much file trading is going on. How much has it increased? I know it was huge with the music trading, movie trading a little bit slower, but now it's a really big deal. How much content is being traded illegally over the Internet?
In terms of movies, it's obviously quite difficult to track that down specifically, but the numbers that we've heard are generally in the range of 400 to 600,000 films per day. A lot of activity obviously happening on college campuses as well as people at home.
And is it very difficult for these people to download movies from the Internet, or is it something that even I could understand how to do?
I think it's relatively straightforward for those that are familiar with utilizing a PC and how to operate, whether it's Kazaa or Morpheus and so forth. The issue, obviously, for movies tends to be bandwidth. Most people have relatively low-speed connections, and it takes quite some time to download a movie.
So what, in the best possible worlds, what would you like to be seen done to stop copyright infringement file trading on the Internet?
Well, I think at the end of the day, what we have here is an enormous opportunity. What Napster and Morpheus have shown us, in addition to obviously the issues associated with illegitimate trade, is that the electronic word of mouth can be extremely powerful in marketing media, movies, music, and the like. And so, frankly, what we'd like to see is a lot of close cooperation between our member companies and those companies in the CE and IT space to try and build out a legitimate market for the distribution of entertainment works.
Do you see a day where that is a possibility? I mean, they keep coming up with these new ways of encoding the movies, and people still figure out a way how to download them. All the codes are getting cracked. Do you think we'll ever have a day when Hollywood and the music industry is going to be able to do it their way?
Well, I think there will always continue to be the day where commercial pirates are looking for ways to, in fact, make money off of ill-gotten content. By the same token, when you look at the average consumer, they're interested in a high-quality service. They're interested in a wide range of offerings. These are the kinds of things that we put forward on legitimate services. And I think over time, as they're developed, that's where we'll see consumers go en masse.
All right. Well, Scott, thanks very much for coming in and telling us your side of the story. All right, man?
Thank you.
All right. That's Scott Dinsdale, the MPAA Vice Satellite from Los Angeles, California. You want to know more about the Berman Bill and what's going on in the fight for copyrights in the digital age? Head on over to screensavers.com where we'll get you updated. And don't forget to sound off on our message board. We want to hear how you feel on this issue. And